guys, DJ CUPPY here, and you're watching KalishaJ Presents. Mwah!
Hey, what's up guys? I'm your girl KalishaJ, and I am here joined with the beautiful and lovely Miss DJ extraordinaire herself, none other than DJ CUPPY, of course.
I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you. And you know what? The camera is definitely glad to be capturing this beauty that is CUPPY.
Absolutely. We're giving them girl power this afternoon.
Yes, we're giving them everything. We're giving them
a bit of color,
yes,
a bit of everything.
Exactly. We're giving them African prints,
Yes.
we're giving them fur,
Yes.
we're giving them over the knee boots.
We are disturbing London.
Yes, we definitely are. Now, speaking of disturbing London, you are here doing a series of, behind the scenes things that we can't actually even go into,
Well, let's just say right now I'm shooting a documentary piece for a huge UK network, and it's going to be exciting, I'm really trying to, and I've always been trying to just put Africa on the map, and whether that's through the little things I do or bigger projects. I think it's all about just being an advocate for African women around the world. And also, for me, being back in London is exciting. I moved to New York 2 years ago, and it has been great in New York. I've done a lot of exciting things. I'm doing a master's at NYU. I'm interning at RocNation. I'm on an MTV Show with Charlamagne.
You're doing a lot.
It's a lot, but I do feel like, it's exciting, but for me, nothing feels good unless I'm doing what I feel like my calling is, and at the end of the day, I'm just a young Nigerian girl with big dreams.
And I find that so inspiring, especially to other young women that are out there looking at you thinking, oh my God, she's so beautiful, she's so, articulate, she's so talented, how can I be like her? And you're setting such a huge example for them. I mean, who was the inspiration behind your wanting to be all of these different things?
A lot of people ask that. They're like, okay, CUPPY, who's your mentor? And the thing is that I never really say one person, because I think people evolve. We're all like sponges. We soak things around. So, I recently turned 23, and I was like, gosh, I'm definitely not the 18-year-old or the 16-year-old that started DJing. And I think it's good because we must look at people and take the good and leave the bad.
Of course.
So I've had so many people, but particularly people like my parents stand out. They are Nigerian parents who very untraditionally allowed me to follow my dreams, and they've supported me and they still support me. And I remember when I said I wanted to DJ, my dad was like, well, if you're going to DJ, you better be the best DJ.
There we go.
And it's like a healthy pressure, and I think that a lot more Nigerian parents need to allow their children to follow their dreams and give them support. And unfortunately for me, when I say that, a lot of people say, oh, financial support, because they look at my dad's my dad's brand and his entrepreneurial success, and they assume that that's trickled down to what I've been able to do. But I just think that it's for me, more than anything, it's the moral support they gave me. It's having parents and having a home that you can sort of grow as a person. So, you have good days, you have bad days, you'll have good days and bad days, and just being able to say, oh, I had a really horrible gig, or just having that feedback about how you can challenge yourself, it's just so amazing. I have a lot of friends that are creatives, but because of Nigerian sort of society, they've had to, shadow away that side of themselves that they want to express, and, gone for more traditional jobs like being a lawyer, being a doctor, or being a housewife.
Well, you know what? I find that so interesting that you said that, and it's really good that you've actually brought that to the forefront, because that's something that people know about but they don't really talk about, because it's this very how can I say, it's this thing that's ingrained in us culturally, where we're like, okay, if you're not a lawyer, if you're not a doctor, if you're not a surgeon, or someone that is, should I say academic,
yes,
then you're nothing.
Right.
And I don't think that that is the case.
I completely disagree, and that's why, again, I'm doing a master's. For me, I think that because I'm in such a creative environment, I just feel like my intellect shouldn't suffer from that. And I don't think that I can't have the best of two worlds. My undergrad was in economics, and sort of moving to New York was really for me sort of putting myself out there, learning a different system, and also just growing as a young adult. And I think it was quite brave. I don't have family in America. I don't have friends there. And, I've been able to find my own. And, people say as well, how do you manage school and being a DJ? And For me, it's the discipline I learned from just being in school. You know, academics is amazing. It's something that I think sticks by you. You know, even though I can't remember some of my biology class lectures, I still remember the discipline I had to develop.
Of course, yeah.
Having deadlines, having essays, you learn to prioritize.
That is true.
And that doctrine you can apply to your own life. And that's why somehow I'm able to balance being in full-time school and also traveling around the world to DJ. But sometimes I get it wrong.
I was just about to say, because I'm like, you know what, you're saying, you're painting a good picture, but do you always get it right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll be backstage at a show doing an essay that's due. It's crazy. Or I'll be at school, you know, and we've literally got a 5-minute break and I'll have a conference call with a client that I'm DJing for. Or, you know, I'll be up late. I've got an essay to do, but I have to submit a mixtape as well. So it's like thinking of it two different worlds. But then again, you see, I take my DJ career as a profession. Okay. So, you know, I think, again, another thing I've struggled with back home in Nigeria is that a lot of people don't really see the value and the ethics of sort of running a brand.
And you know, I'm so glad that you said that. God bless you for even saying that. I would love you to just repeat that for me, please. People don't see the value of running a brand. And not only that, on top of that, they don't actually see the importance of, you know, paying for that brand.
Absolutely.
Because they think, oh, we don't want to pay big money for da-da-da. It's not even that.
First of all, two things. What you put in is what you get out. And second thing is that you have to spend money to make money.
There we go.
Everyone knows, well, everyone should know that. And something, again, I learned from my dad, you know, but I'm not necessarily applying it in the more sort of, you know, economical way he is, but I'm applying it to the way I'm running my business, the way I think my team work. We're very, very sort of, we treat, you know, I was laughing because we had a call and I was on the phone with, you know, my team, and it's amazing. I have such a cool young team, sort of, and most of them are females, you know, so girl power. And like we were talking about CUPPY, and I was like, yeah, I think CUPPY should do this, that next year, because I actually separate myself from the brand, you know, and that's so important because you know, you have to make sure that you're making informed, unbiased decisions. You know, some things that are good for CUPPY won't be good for me, if that makes sense, you know. And it is a sacrificial thing, sort of growing a brand, but the idea is that it has some longevity to it, and then, you know, I can pursue the more personal things later on. There's a time for everything, and, you know, I really just feel like, you know, you have to just work hard. If you have big dreams takes a lot of big work and, you know, a lot of effort, and you know, and I'm really lucky because I love what I do. And I always also say, you know, find a job you love and you never have to work a day in your life.
That is very true. And you know what? I completely agree with that. Hence the reason why I've gone into full-time presenting. Because before I was literally doing a lot of session singing. That was my profession after university. I studied politics, which is completely different from television or even singing.
But haven't you found like the politics, just some, you know, there's some elements that you can apply, and
of course,
it gives you a competitive edge.
It does make you competitive, but I think it also helps you like deal with different types of people in different scenarios. Whereas you have to be, should I say, a little bit of a you have to kind of sometimes approach a situation differently. And you have to think about it you have to answer things diplomatically or deal with certain situations diplomatically. And I think that's where I guess my politics background will come into play.
And I think that's a big problem in the industry I'm in, you know, with music and I guess generally entertainment. I find that sometimes, you know, the level of thought is so low, you know. You try and have meaningful conversations with people, but they just don't understand it, and you know, they're just viewing the music thing as a cool thing, or, you know, especially I think, you know, with our younger generation, you know, there's so many just sort of people are going into entertainment for the wrong reasons. You know, it's not passion driven, nor is it sort of, you can't justify it. You know, it's for me, it's sort of crazy, and I do feel like we have to just be a little more aware and calculate things. I don't want to be a if it don't make money, it doesn't make sense person, but you know, really and truly, you have to view it as a business. It's something that, you know, because the way I view it, if I wasn't DJing, I'd be doing other things, you know. So at best, damn well be worth it.
Exactly.
So I'm putting 101%.
Exactly. That's amazing. So, I know that we've spoken about the Nigerian entertainment industry, but within that industry, have you faced any sort of, should I say, pressure or criticism? Because, number one, you're a female DJ,
yes.
and also, as we've mentioned before, because of your, I guess what people might say, somewhat privileged background.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can't have you here without being real and talking about
it. And I'm completely open about it. I'm lucky enough to touch on my, first of all, the idea of me having a privileged background. Absolutely, I'm so blessed to have such an inspiring dad. And if anything, he's really pushed me. And with that, all I have to say is, and this is really the basis at home, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Exactly.
Right? So, I feel like I have to work very hard. My dad is the most loving person, hardworking in the world, but he's also my worst critic. So it's a healthy kind of pressure. So yeah, I have pressure at home. Then talk less of pressure outside.
Yes.
Being a female in the Nigerian industry is so difficult. And really, I have to acknowledge all the hard work that the females have been doing for so long. And all these female artists, it's very difficult. And I think that the industry has to help. They have to sort of support females a bit more. But then again, I was having a chat with another female artist, and she said, perhaps it's actually the females' fault. She said, females don't really support each other. And I thought that was interesting. I can't say I've been DJing for that long, about 2 years, professionally. And I do get a sense of, okay, well, maybe there's a bit of unhealthy competition there. And, these are the things that stop you from growing.
True.
And, being a female DJ as well, I have to acknowledge it and be honest. There's some male DJs that have just not been supportive at all.
Of course, they wouldn't be.
And I was, I don't want to say I was this naive little cupcake in the beginning, but, I sort of, things got really real for me last year, going on tour, sort of doing some exciting big things and sort of seeing how people reacted to them.
Because you did a CUPPY Takes Africa tour,
Yeah,
you hosted the AMAs, if I'm not.
I hosted I DJ'd at the MTV Awards.
Yes, that's the one.
The Mamas, yeah.
Exactly.
Which was huge. Again, and I DJ'd for the presidential inauguration. And that in particular, DJing for President Buhari, there were some tweets like, why, first of all, why a female? And I thought that was so sexist, I think it was great, and I was absolutely honored by the inauguration committee to be approached, because they said, hey, female DJ, we want to show Nigeria has this up-and-coming new generation that supports young women being creative and expressing themselves. So I think that my brand sort of, apart from me DJing, it speaks for itself. There's a sort of powerful message behind a young African educated woman, being able to be a DJ. I mean, it's complete. Everyone's just like, well, my parents are like, I would never ever imagine that would be possible. And I know people go up to my parents and say, gosh, you're letting your child do that. But I think I'm also showing that, DJing and the music industry is not what people think it is. You can have a balanced life. You can be educated. You can be sort of well-mannered. You can be a strong Christian. You can have a great life and still be in the music industry.
And speaking of Christianity, now that you brought it up, how important is your Christian faith in all that you do? Because obviously, as a Christian, as a fellow Christian myself, for me personally, I don't feel that anything that I do is by my own doing or by my own strength. Absolutely. What are your thoughts?
I completely agree. I look at what I've been able to achieve in such a short time, and honestly, God has He's just been that support I've needed. So, people have platforms, we get big ones, we get small ones, and we all go there hoping to execute. But, just the way things have just sort of fallen into place, I just know He's sort of been there. And when I have had very difficult times as well, I'm not going to be dramatic and say, I thought I was going to quit, but I have taken some things to heart, especially because I think media can be very mean sometimes.
What's the most horrible thing someone said or someone has written?
People have been awful, but just sort of, I'm a bit sensitive when it comes to my family, and my dad, and people tend to just for whatever reason put me and my dad in the same sort of basket, and we're completely different people, you know. And he's done so well, and he's been able to build a brand and build a great business, and now it's my turn to pay my own dues. And you know, I want to be given a clean start. I want to be given the opportunity, or you know. So I've had people that perhaps will have an issue with my dad, and that just trickles straight down to me, and we're completely different people. And I think that, you know, just personal life, you know, I'm very sort of, it's weird, I'm a personal but not personal person. I love to talk, but, you know, I'm very sort of private when it comes to my relationships. So, you know, when it comes to
should be.
I completely agree, you know. And, you know, people, gosh, I mean, someone was like, oh, she won't say who her boyfriend is, so she must be a lesbian.
We're gonna leave that alone. I'm sure I know that you definitely are not. But you know, I think that just shows how ludicrous some people can be in the way that they think and the way that they approach things sometimes.
Yeah, and, you know, again, I've only been professionally DJing for 2 years, so I was not used to people talking about me or caring, you know. So that takes a lot of, and I'm still adjusting.
Well, you know what my mom always says, and she's given me this piece of advice, and I'm going to pass it on to you. My mom says that you have to be like a duck that is on water. And I'll tell you why. Because when a duck is on the water, you see it gliding, right?
Yeah.
But you don't see its feet furiously paddling underneath the water.
Fair.
And any water that goes on the duck's back, it just floats off.
Right.
So that's how you have to be. Regardless of what anyone throws at you, just let it glide off like water on a duck's back.
Yeah, and you know, let the work speak
and you keep working.
Let the work speak for itself, right?
That's my philosophy. You know, that is exactly what I do. And I can see that you don't need any help. You don't need any coaching with that because you're doing well.
But yeah, I agree. But you know, like you said earlier, you know, there's good days and there's bad days, and you know, there's disappointments and there's just amazing triumphs. So that's the good and bad side of it. I think when people say, what's the best part of your job, worst part, I say the worst part is the lack of, it's so unpredictable, you know, and that's difficult.
But that can also be good as well.
Right.
Because you never know what's coming up.
I'll get a phone call saying I'm going to Miami tomorrow. I'm like, oh, you know, I mean, and it's amazing. So it's a fun part, but you know, I found as I'm getting older as well, it's hard because I'm trying to have a balanced life. You know, I'm trying to have, right now, I cannot tell you, someone is like, where are you really based? You know, is it New York, is it London, is it Lagos? And I just can't tell you where.
Well, I saw on your Twitter, it says London, Lagos, New York. So
yeah,
choose one. You know, it's one of those three,
right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, you know, speaking of London or Lagos or New York, where exactly, you know, do you see yourself raising a family in future?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I went to university in London. You know, I moved to London when I was 12 from Lagos. And, you know, I just love London. London is amazing. And I feel like I have neglected London for a while, you know. I've put a lot of effort into Lagos, put a lot of effort into New York, and I'm excited. You know, I'm moving back in May. It's gonna be, I know I'll be in London all the time, but you know, DJing is just such a dynamic career. You're never really in one place, which is one of the best parts of the job. But I'll probably settle in London. London is a great place to sort of have as a hub. My company we're opening an office and a studio in London, right in Brick Lane, which is going to be amazing. But you know, can't forget about Nigeria. I mean, that's home is home. So you know, perhaps I'll also sort of go there as well in the long run.
What do you feel is one of the biggest misconceptions about Nigeria?
That's a great question. I think more than anything, I think the people, you know. I think that people definitely do not understand Nigerians. And, you know, I'm involved, like I said, in a visual project right now with a big UK network. And they are trying to, and that's why I came on board, they're trying to change this perception, you know, that our people are sometimes greedy, that our people are sometimes overly loud or selfish, or our people are dodgy or, you know, or sort of very sneaky or, you know, not trustworthy. Whereas we are really actually a very strong community. We're very sort of, I think, value orientated. You know, if it's not religion, then it's family. You know, we sort of are quite a communal, collective society. And that's the side of Africa I'm trying to show. I'm trying to show that, you know, we're also becoming more and more open-minded. I mean, I can't say that we're the most open-minded society in the world, but we are becoming open-minded. And to say, okay, I followed my passion to be a DJ, and actually I have my people back home backing me, you know, it's amazing. So, you know, sort of trying to tell that story, and I think that it's also up to us to get rid of these misconceptions.
Of course it is, definitely.
And we as a sort of, I think, a new generation have to sort of get rid of some of these cobweb, you know, reputations that we hold to, you know, because I think like a lot of people are very curious. Nigeria and Africa as a whole is on the map right now.
Of course.
And, you know, we really have to sort of show them what we've got, and we have so much to offer.
I definitely agree with that. And, you know, speaking of showing them what you have to offer, you know, what would you say would be the best gig that you could ever play if you were ever given the opportunity? What's your dream gig to show Nigeria or to show Africa in the most positive light possible?
Gosh, well, you know, I would love to DJ for, gosh, that's very difficult to say. I mean, for starters, DJing for the president was just such an honor. You know, so definitely like always waving that Nigerian flag. As far as the continent, you know, I'd love to DJ for, you know, maybe, you know, when next we have the World Cup, or by God's grace, Africa will host the Olympics one day. You know, just sort of having that idea of just a collective event that sort of brings the world together. That would be amazing. I mean, it's also one of my dreams to DJ for the Queen one day.
Well, you know what? I'm sure that will happen very soon.
Fingers crossed.
I mean, let's say a prayer. Please, Lord, let Cuppy DJ for the Queen.
Hey.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. Hey, Queen.
You know, so but I'm also very interested in the sense that I don't necessarily sort of allow these things to position my success. I think I'm DJing to self-fulfill. So already I just love what I do. I just, you know, I cannot believe that my job is to literally celebrate with people. It's the most amazing thing ever. You know, I do a lot of weddings, I do a lot of birthday parties, and it's just so beautiful to just sort of be there. And music is so powerful, you know, so using that to lift spirits and to create memories is just...
I find that phenomenal. So obviously we're in the first month of 2016. Yeah, we're just in January, approaching the middle of January. Sure, kind of. Yeah.
Time flies.
Exactly. So what is next for DJ CUPPY for the rest of 2016?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, definitely. I mean, I'll be going on tour again. You know, 8 countries in Africa again in 4 weeks. We shot a reality show, so there'll be a visual coming out for that. And you know, I'm leaving New York, so that's pretty exciting. Just transitioning over for the first time in my life. I'm going to be a full-time DJ. So excited and nervous at the same time. And I have a bunch of projects planned. You know, it's so exciting. A lot of big brands and international brands are trying to sort of make waves in Nigeria, and you know, I'll be working with some of them. And my company is growing, Red Velvet Music Group, RVMG, opening an office in London. You know, that'll be exciting, because outside of the CUPPY brand, you know, I'd love to help other people. So, you know, I feel like the reason I'm able to be here now is because someone gave me a chance. So I feel like it's my responsibility to give others a chance as well.
I love that.
So, you know, my plan is to really build a management company that allows a bit of a tighter space between the UK and Nigeria, you know, and not sort of just having artists, you know, other creatives, fashion, art. You know, my sister Timmy, she's a blogger. Her name is JTO.
Okay, I've seen her
and she's
pictures.
doing so well. I mean, she was in Vogue. We were in Vogue together last month, and you know, it's amazing how there's just such. It's like they're becoming younger and younger. I have like 6-year-old girls telling me they want to be DJs, and you know, these people need platforms.
They definitely do.
So I want to make sure that I'm building myself, but I'm also leaving something behind.
Of course. Now, speaking of leaving something behind, as we round up, in 20 years' time, or even 50 years' time, when people Google DJ CUPPY, what do you want top 3 words to be?
In 50 years.
50 years.
Oh my God, I'll be 73. Wow.
And I'll be older than that, but I'm not gonna tell you how old. 3 words. What do you want? 3 words that you want them to be the top search results. DJ CUPPY.
Okay. I think there's got to be. Okay, I don't want to constrain myself to DJing.
Okay.
So it's got to be creative,
Okay.
right? I want to be known as a creative.
That's one.
Someone that creates things and produces content. So that's DJing, that's producing, that's really anything. Philanthropist.
Okay.
I'm very involved in charity. Actually, half of my tour was fueled by the charity work I was doing, you know, sort of representing the Dangote Foundation. So I couldn't just travel around and sort of just party. You know, I had to leave something behind. So we went to girls' schools, which was just so rewarding. And what would the last one be? So creative, philanthropist, and this is a great question. This is like the most interesting question I've been asked. Well, and I think also just I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but I want to be known as someone that's just some sort of source of inspiration.
Inspiring.
Yeah,
There you go. So
inspiring.
creative, philanthropist, inspiring.
Yeah, I want
Inspirational, actually.
Yeah, inspirational. Just an inspirational individual. I love speaking to people. I love public speaking. I'm very passionate about, obviously, Africa and Nigeria. I could see myself going to soft politics in the future.
I can see that too. I can actually see that.
So I think like I have a lot of different sort of, you know, the CUPPY brand is just not one that's going to be constrained. So, you know, I don't know what the future holds, but I want to make sure that, you know, I just leave something behind.
Well, we definitely have started the groundwork for that, you know, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And we know that we'll be seeing a lot more of you.
Yes.
CUPPY takes over Africa, but CUPPY takes over the world. I mean,
CUPPY takes the world.
you know, never know. We might be fast forwarding in a few years to vote for CUPPY. I mean, CUPPY for president. Yes, indeed. You never know. Thank you so much,
Thank you so much
for talking
for
to us.
having me.
Thank you very much.
Mwah.